Hollywood's golden age looked glamorous on the surface. Movie stars were icons, and the studios worked tirelessly to keep their images flawless. But behind the glitz, the real stories were often stranger and darker than the movies themselves. Today we're diving into 15 bizarre but true stories from old Hollywood. Tales of secrets, scandals, and surreal moments that prove truth really can be stranger than fiction. Clark Gable, the king of Hollywood. His charm, his grin, his confidence, they defined an era. But that famous smile? It was fake. By his early 30s, Gable had lost most of his teeth to gum disease. MGM spent the modern equivalent of $60,000 on custom dentures to save his image. They looked great on camera, but came with a problem: terrible breath. Co-stars quietly complained, but speaking up was forbidden. Gable's dentures weren't just dental work. They symbolized Hollywood's obsession with perfection, where even a leading man's flaws were hidden at any cost. Judy Garland was only 16 when she filmed The Wizard of Oz, but the magic on screen came at a terrible price. Executives decided she looked too chubby and forced her onto a diet of coffee, chicken broth, and pills. Amphetamines kept her awake, sleeping pills knocked her out, and if she gained weight, she faced fines. This brutal regimen sparked a lifelong struggle with addiction. Garland's radiant performances masked a young woman breaking down under relentless pressure. Her story remains one of Hollywood's most tragic examples of talent exploited in the name of image. Some Hollywood stories are so strange, they sound made up. Take John Barrymore, a brilliant actor and notorious prankster. When he died in 1942, his friends gave him a send-off that shocked everyone. Legend says director Raoul Walsh borrowed his body from the funeral home and placed it upright in a chair, waiting for actor Errol Flynn to stumble in drunk. Flynn walked in, saw Barrymore's lifeless body sitting there, and screamed. Was it disrespectful? Maybe. But to Barrymore's circle, it was the final performance of a man who loved shocking people, even from beyond the grave. Thelma Todd was a rising star of 1930s comedy. But at just 29, her life ended in mystery. She was found dead in her car, parked inside her garage. Official cause: carbon monoxide poisoning. But she wore an evening gown, jewelry, and had blood on her face. The garage was locked from the inside. Rumors swirled. Her violent ex-husband, mobster Lucky Luciano, even studio pressure to cover up scandal. Authorities closed the case as an accident, but many believe otherwise. To this day, Thelma Todd's death is one of Hollywood's most chilling, unsolved cases. The Wizard of Oz dazzled audiences with its colors, but filming it was anything but magical. Technicolor required brutal lighting, heating sets to over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Actors wore toxic makeup that caused burns and allergic reactions. Buddy Ebsen, the original Tin Man, nearly died from aluminum dust in his makeup. Margaret Hamilton, the Wicked Witch, suffered second-degree burns when a stunt went wrong. Even the snow in the poppy field? It was asbestos. On screen, it was fantasy. Off screen, it was torture. And yet, no one dared complain, because in Hollywood, the show had to go on. 1961's The Misfits starred Marilyn Monroe, Clark Gable, and Montgomery Clift. But the film became a haunting swan song for its stars. Filmed in brutal desert heat, production was plagued by delays, Monroe's health struggles, and director John Huston's gambling habits. Gable insisted on doing dangerous stunts, and days after filming wrapped, he died of a heart attack. Monroe overdosed just a year later. Clift, already fragile, spiraled and died 5 years later. The movie became a classic, but its legacy is one of eerie foreshadowing, a so-called curse marking the end of Hollywood's golden glamour. Carl Switzer, beloved as Alfalfa in Our Gang, never escaped his childhood role. Struggling for work, he turned to odd jobs. In 1958, a dispute over a $50 dog-finding fee ended with him being shot. He was just 31. Newspapers barely covered it. Hollywood had already moved on, leaving one of its most famous child stars to die in obscurity. Eccentric billionaire Howard Hughes wasn't just obsessed with airplanes. He fixated on women, too. While producing The Outlaw, he designed a bizarre, engineering-inspired bra for Jane Russell meant to defy gravity. Russell secretly wore her own bras instead, fooling Hughes completely. His obsessions grew darker, cataloging actresses' body measurements, living in isolation, and wearing tissue boxes on his feet. Genius? Yes. Disturbed? Absolutely. In 1959, George Reeves, TV's Superman, was found dead from a gunshot wound. Officially, suicide. But the evidence told a stranger story. No fingerprints on the gun, bruises on his body. Party guests waited 45 minutes before calling police, and Reeves had upcoming wedding plans. Some suspected mafia involvement, linked to his affair with the wife of an MGM executive. Others pointed to his fiancée. The LAPD stuck with suicide, but fans still ask, did Superman really take his own life? Joan Crawford and Bette Davis despised each other for decades. Crawford married the man Davis loved. On the set of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, Crawford put weights in her costume to hurt Davis during a dragging scene. Davis retaliated with a Coca-Cola vending machine, knowing Crawford was tied to Pepsi. At the Oscars, Davis was nominated, Crawford wasn't. Crawford arranged to accept the award on behalf of the absent winner, gleefully stealing the spotlight. Their feud was toxic, petty, and unforgettable. 5 more bizarre Hollywood stories to close out. The Munchkin hanging myth. Fans believed a Munchkin actor died on set of The Wizard of Oz. In reality, it was just a bird flapping in the background. But the myth still overshadows the real dangers. Marlene Dietrich's lighting clause. She demanded control of her own lighting, even traveling with her own technician. Result, she always looked flawless on screen. Tallulah Bankhead's wild defiance refused underwear on set, smoked cigars, swore constantly, and lived openly bisexual, refusing to play by Hollywood's rules. Fatty Arbuckle's scandal, accused of killing actress Virginia Rappi at a party. Though acquitted, his career was destroyed, and Hollywood responded by creating its first censorship code. Loretta Young's secret baby. She secretly had a child with Clark Gable while he was married, then adopted her own baby to hide the scandal. The truth only came out decades later. These stories prove that Hollywood's golden age wasn't just about glamour and glitz. There was also secrets, tragedies, and eccentricities that shaped the legends we still talk about today. Which of these stories shocked you the most? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this dive into old Hollywood, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more.